welcome to Dornbusch Download, number 148. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Michael. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate, not too bad. The markets continue to throw all sorts of hand grenades at us. It's been another sort of wobbly old, well, certainly week, but last couple of months have been a bit tricky, haven't they?
Yeah, I see some stats coming out the other day. Since March, there's been no 2 consecutive weeks heading in the same direction. So it's been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down since March. So, yeah, so it's lacking a bit of direction, Michael.
Oh, it has. It's been extraordinary, hasn't it? Because one day you come in and it seems like the problems of the world are solved and everyone's in a good mood, and then the next day it all comes crumbling back down again. So tough old time for investors out there at the moment.
It is. One consistency at the moment is the Reserve Bank. Yesterday came out and held interest rates on hold for another month at 1.5%. So, like I said last week, I don't think anything's changing in that respect for the rest of the year. So.
Yeah, no, I think they seem to be reasonably comfortable where the economy's at, don't they? So either way, yeah, they just don't, whether up or down, they just don't seem to be too keen to be doing a great deal at the moment.
Just low wages growth and low inflation. There's no compelling reason to put rates up at the moment. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, it is. It's an interesting story, isn't it? Because we often hear that low rates are a good thing, and I know we've spoken about this many times, but it's literally only about 30% of the population have a mortgage out there these days. So everyone else, particularly self-funded retirees, it's just making that little bit trickier, isn't it, to find options that are going to provide a reasonable income without taking too much risk. So it seems to be a bit of a dilemma.
It's a huge challenge. It has been for a while for like you say, self-funded retirees, just trying to get some good dividend yield from blue chip shares and things like that, just trying to top up their income because bank interest, they might get 2% in their bank account. So it's just struggling to keep up with inflation.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one thing that we've got on the moment, Rod, is a reporting season. So it's come around to that time of year again, ever so quickly. So we had the traditional starter of the reporting season, a company called GUD Holdings. So they they own companies that basically own or make filters for cars, oil, air filters, that sort of stuff, Davy water products. And they've also got the oats business. They make plastic buckets, mops, that sort of thing. Their result wasn't too bad, a little bit lower than what they expected, but ultimately not bad numbers, about $83 million profit, I think it was. But certainly a lot of big companies reporting in the not too distant future. I'll just grab my little cheat sheet.
The next couple of weeks is
absolutely. Probably ones that'll be of most interest. Commonwealth Bank on the 10th of August, so that'll certainly set a tone for the banking system and other banks out there, of course. Investors certainly going to be looking at dividend yield. How maintainable are dividends from the banks, in light of bank levies and credit rating downgrades and all of that sort of thing. We've also got those new regulations from APRA. So common equity tier 1 ratios will also be very much in focus. These banks have got to try and get up to 10.5% in a couple of years' time. So it'll be interesting to see just how they're tracking along.
Which is a good thing. It makes our banks stronger in the whole scheme of things. Our banks are well regarded all around the world, the strength of our banks. So it's not a bad thing. They've got to meet those regulations. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Very true, Rod. No, it's a good point. I mean, it really, we've seen countries where their banking systems have faltered or been crippled, I guess, for want of a better word, and it just creates absolute chaos and pandemonium. So, again, to throw a cliche in there, a bit of short-term pain for a bit of long-term gain probably isn't a bad thing. I reckon we can probably squeeze a couple of extra ones in there in this section as well. Bendigo Bank on the 14th of August. Telstra, that'll be a big one as well, 17th of August. So, again, Telstra's been in the news probably for all the wrong reasons yet again. But again, I think dividend policy of Telstra is going to be paramount and what investors are going to be looking to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's the case with a lot of dividend providing blue chip stocks. If there's a change in the dividend, whether it be up or down, it's just to analyse, say if there's a drop in their dividend, What are they doing with that cash? And obviously, they're paying less out in dividends, so they're going to reinvest it back into the company. And what are their plans? They might have a good proposal to move forward with to help expand the company. So there might be good reasoning for it. So I suppose that's our job, Michael, is to look at the research and look in behind the scenes and what's actually what the mechanics of it is.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's a really good point, because I think as investors here in Australia, we've gotten so used to getting very strong dividend yields from our companies. The franking system, which isn't unique to Australia. There's a couple of other countries that have it, but the franking system here really has supported a much higher dividend payout policy for most companies listed in Australia. And because we've gotten so used to getting 4, 5, 6% fully franked dividends, it's hard to give those up again, particularly in a very low interest rate environment.
We're pretty spoiled, really.
Yeah,
yes, Australian market.
Absolutely, but you bring up a good point. I mean, if companies do need to get to the point where they drop the dividend, hopefully they're going to use more of those retained earnings for better causes, perhaps.
Expansion plans. Who knows? Yeah,
absolutely. So a lot of information to come through, particularly over the next couple of weeks. But a couple there of highlights. So on the upcoming downloads, we'll no doubt be having a bit of a chat about those.
Yeah. So like you say, Michael, the Australian reporting season is just cranking up. The US has been reporting for a couple of weeks now. I just see Apple reported overnight. Apple reported a 7.2% rise in quarterly revenue, buoyed by better than expected sales of its iPhones, ahead of smartphone's 10th anniversary edition launched later this year. So I don't think you're not an Apple user, are you?
No, I don't have an Apple phone.
Apple fans will get excited about that.
Oh.
But it said that iPhone sales rose 1.6% for the quarter to 41.03 million units. So you weren't one of those.
That's a lot of phones. Yeah.
That's a lot of phones. So and they expect the company to sell 45.55 million iPhones on the current quarter. So it was pretty positive results for Apple, even though you don't use it, Michael. So.
Yeah. I could be converted maybe, but look, they've been a game changer, Rod, haven't they, Apple? I mean, it's been a fantastic business, and ultimately they've changed the landscape of communications. Since Jobs and his guys brought in iPhones and iPads all those many moons ago. Just interesting to see where they can take the technology now. I mean, they've had such great growth and such great increases and improvements in improvisation. How far can it go? And I guess we say this every year, that it just can't get any better, and yet it still does. So
still breaking through with new technology. With Apple, and we've spoken about it on downloads before, like we've got a disruption fund where companies like that, they're disrupting companies that coming like Amazon and Apple and the like with new technology affect other companies in the marketplace. So it's just those sort of companies we've got specific investments we can put clients' money into if they're interested.
Absolutely, Rod. And look, an excellent segue into a little company that I've been looking at, Fast Brick Robotics. And as the name sort of suggests, it's a brick-laying machine developing company. And adequately, the machine's called the Hadrian Wall Builder. And this machine can apparently lay 1,000 bricks in an hour, whereas it takes supposedly two pretty experienced brickies all day to lay 1,000 bricks. So as you bring out, Rod, there's a lot of these disruption type companies, I guess coming into traditional businesses and disrupting them, coming in with more efficient and more productive ways of doing things. But Fast Brick Robotics, if you're looking at a little specky and something in this robotics section, it might be worth a look at. The code is FBR. Caterpillar
Put a chart up for that.
Yeah, we'll throw a chart in. Caterpillar's thrown a bit over $2.5 million at it in the last few weeks, so seems to be some legs there. But no profit, no dividend or anything like that at this stage. So again, very much on the speculative front. But if you're looking at something with a bit more spice, but in that sector, it's one that's popped up on the radar in the last couple of weeks.
Excellent. That's probably about it from me, Michael. How about you?
Rod, I'm just about done, mate. I think we're done and dusted.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you.